It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We love.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AmPace.
AmPace.
All right, who's ready to get started? You guys ready? I am absolutely ready. It is Friday afternoon. We are live from the Rogue Media, North Texas, DFW, Flower Mound to be exact, studios. I am Pete Sousa. It is the Pete Sousa Show. Today we're talking about, well, first, we're talking about Slovakics, because what else would you talk about to start off a big show like this on a Friday? Because you got to start off your vacation or a long trip, or at least segment it or break it up with Slovakics. Slovakics of West. Kolaches, gas. The gas comes after the kolaches, but I'm talking about gas you put in your car, not the other kind of gas, although that could come as a result of the kolaches. I don't know. I'm just saying you should go to Slovakics, okay? Also, Sikora Family Ford, also in West. Good friends of the show, friends of mine, and you'll find them to be extremely friendly if you're in the market for a car. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Crawford Austin Properties, Extraco Bank, First National Bank of Central Texas, everybody helping us get and stay on the air. If you guys want to like and subscribe, I would suggest you do that. All right, if you're watching right now, you should like and subscribe, whether you're joining us on Twitter or whether you're joining us on YouTube, or who knows how else you could get us, right? We're going to start today Well, first of all, we got a lot to talk about. And really this show is very Baylor-centric, but part of our Baylor-centric show really extends to all over the world. And I'm Drew's Baylor basketball team that is about to head overseas. Quickly, I want to start off on that topic just real quick. A great opportunity. Baylor, I think they leave tomorrow. Scott Drew had his press availability yesterday, talking to the media about the absolute gift it is to be able to take this trip, right? The team, outside of the international players, because they're going to play in international play to represent USA basketball, but the team will get away, right, from all the distractions that are in America, really. I mean, you go overseas, you have the opportunity to play in different time zones, like very different time zones. So as, you know, your team can't really like be so connected social media wise, or at least like socially to people back in the States. And it's a real opportunity for a team like Baylor's, who is witnessing and experiencing so much turnover. Not too unique in the world of college basketball today, but Baylor was kind of like up here as far as the standard bearer for roster turnover this past season, as everybody is gone. So it's an opportunity for Scott Drew to build that camaraderie. And you could tell he was talking to the media, like I said yesterday, at Foster Pavilion, and he was just like, he was pumped. I mean, if you think about it, if you're Scott Drew, this is like Christmas. You get out of the States, right? Probably a nice trip. You get to watch your team bond and build relationships. Scott Drew usually brings in great people, right? So that's got to be something that he really finds enjoyable and fruitful. And you also get to see these guys play together for the first time. There's a lot of guys that you don't know about that you're going to get to see play. Bobo is one of them. Tunde's, these are the guys staying back. Sorry. Michael Rataj, Tunde, and I think Bobo, the big dude, he's not going either. But everybody else, I think Michael Rataj is actually going over and playing with Italy, if I'm not mistaken. He'll be in the same tournament. But anyways, that's a great opportunity for Baylor basketball and exciting stuff there. Baylor football, I mean, they continue to just tear the cover off the ball recruiting-wise. And in a world, in a time where every time we turn around, right, we're talking about Cody Campbell and Texas Tech and the infusion of big-time dollars into that program and all the amazing prospects, 5-star, 4-star, that the Red Raiders have brought in the offseason or brought in through recruiting high school players. Baylor has been no slouch. I don't know that we've been talking enough about exactly what Dave Aranda has put together and what they're building. But I can tell you, Jamarian Carlton from Temple likes what they're building a lot. He committed yesterday afternoon to Baylor over Texas, Texas Tech, LSU, some real heavyweights. And this is, it's possible too, reading all the recruiting stuff, that this kid now, he's got one more year left. And we talk about potential and ceilings. It's very likely, or let's just say it's likely, that he were to ascend to a 5-star prospect over the course of the next 12 months, which would make him, what are you saying, Scotty? Hold on. I'm getting text messages from Scotty. Okay. 1 second. So Scotty wanted to Scotty, run the video now. Put it up. This is Jamarian Carlton, and Scotty's got a video that we're going to show you right now. It's going to blow your doors off. Go ahead, Swingler.
I would like to thank all y'all for coming. It's been a very long journey. I just want to thank my coaches, my mom, Coach Terry, close friend of mine, Zay, Coach Martin, and everybody who else helped me through this journey. And with that being said, I'll be going to Baylor University.
How about that? Okay, so I want to pull up a tweet from our favorite, right? My man, Matt Mosley, one of the biggest gets in the Aranda era. Could be the biggest get by the time it's all said and done. And I think one of the things about this, it's not like they flipped Jamarian Carlton in the most dramatic sense of the word or the term, really, when you talk about college recruiting. But as far as recently as 2 weeks ago, everyone was weighing in saying that Carlton was going to go to either Texas, Texas Tech, or LSU. Baylor was kind of on the outside looking in. And I don't know what has happened, but over the last 2 weeks, Baylor became a major player, and Baylor went ahead and won the recruiting battle. And it's an amazing victory for Baylor. Like, I think Mosley made a great point. This is probably the biggest, I think, recruit in the Baylor era, not only because 6'6", 265, the 39th best player in the class of 2026 as ranked by ESPN, also the 4th best defensive lineman in the class. It just, like, the hits keep on coming. Swingler, can you pop up real quick? Just because I want to bring you in on this recruiting conversation. We're going to talk with Cam Stewart to get even further into this. But Scotty really can take us deep right now. Just to can you give some context for people who don't know, like how well and the success that Baylor has been having recruiting, not NIL, recruiting, and up until Jamarian Carlton. This is like cherry on top of the sundae.
So when I did a recruiting update on this show Tuesday, Baylor had the most combined 4- and 5-star recruits of any school in the Big 12 with 4. Now there's 5, all 4 stars, no 5 stars. I don't want to paint it like it's bigger than it is. But now 5 really highly ranked 4-star recruits and a 6th probably committing today. Jordan Clay, Baylor Bear, let's go. This class is incredible. And I just want to – I love Matt Mosley. He and I are working on a little project together right now. It's been a delight. But let me tell you something. He is mega understating this. This is the biggest commitment of Dave Aranda's tenure, and it's not close. It's the 4th highest-rated commit Baylor's ever had, and it is the highest-rated defensive player Baylor's ever had commit to the school. The only 3 higher were all offensive players, a quarterback and 2 receivers who committed to Art Briles. So this is it is a cherry on top of what's turning into a very good class top to bottom. But the commitment of Carlton to Baylor, specifically over Texas, like I just want to articulate. He's from Temple, so if you're not from Texas, Temple is about 35 minutes from Waco, but it's an hour or less from Austin. He's in between, so it wasn't just a hometown pick. Like Austin would have felt like a hometown commitment as well. And Texas is a school that just played in a college football semifinal, so like this. This is incredible. And I know Cam is going to want to talk about this because I listened to his Locked On episode, so I don't want to steal Cam's thunder. But it says a lot. It says a lot about Baylor's strategy moving forward, that they feel like they can go get these Central Texas players because Jamarian Vincent from Connolly here in Waco and London Smith from University High in Waco are 2 of these other 4 stars who've committed to Baylor from right here in Central Texas. And I think they're pitching them a vision of stay home, build something really special. It's actually going to make you way more significant if you can make Baylor a playoff team, Baylor a top 10 team, than if you go play as another cog in the wheel at UT. I think they're pitching some kind of message that works, and we just need to give major props to Keenan Hall, Aaron Hunt, Matt Powledge, and that whole recruiting staff for the Baylor football program because dang it, Pete, if you had told me during 2023 when Baylor football just looked apoplectic, horrible on the field, that a year and a half later we would be getting talent like this, the best talent we've had commit to the school since Art Briles, I would have told you were nuts. It's really exciting.
You know, you said a name there that I think is super important, which is Matt Powledge, which is after that 2023 season, if there was one guy that was on the chopping block, it was Powledge because he was the DC that year. And
it was bad, yeah.
Yeah, the defense was beyond underwhelming. And, you know, he stays on still as DC with Dave Aranda now, but also, like, he stayed on because of his skill set recruiting-wise.
Correct.
There's nobody – you're around that dude, he's like a charisma machine. And I believe that he is so attractive to a lot of these young recruits and his sales pitch. And you mentioned Keenan Hall as well. They're doing something really, really impressive. And this was the quote, too, from Jamarian Carlton. I love this. They're building something, and I want to be a part of it.
Bingo.
Like, and it's pretty simple. And another number or another little statistic or wrinkle to what you said, Baylor now has the highest average recruit star grade in the Big 12 this year for the 2026 season. So it was what you just said about those
Yeah.
4 spots.
And still ranked behind BYU and Texas Tech because less overall recruits, just a smaller number. But I know that's part of what Cam's going to want to talk about too. Is Baylor with this class is targeting very specific high talent kids. These are kids they've been targeting since they were freshmen in some cases. Central Texas kids, again, and especially in the 3 big ones that I named. And all of them have kind of pointed to that as, man, Baylor was the first school on me. Man, like David, I've been
that's what
talking
Carlton
to,
said yesterday.
bingo.
He said that they were showing me love from all the way back when I was a freshman, and they kept showing me love.
Bingo. So we don't even know who's a freshman this coming fall at Midway High School, at La Vega, at Temple, maybe just up the road in DFW. Who's the freshman that Dave Aranda is already in contact with, who 3 years from now is going to be a 4-star that commits to Baylor? They've shifted the strategy, and it's working, dude. I mean, to your point about Powledge, he interviewed for the Sam Houston State head coaching job this past offseason, despite the fact that he was demoted from a play calling role between 23 and 24. So that tells you all you need to know about his influence in the state.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you also have to give props to Dave Aranda for staying the course.
Yes.
When I was reading this morning, when you're doing all your reading and looking at all the recruiting sites and Sports Illustrated and what have you, and I scrolled down when the article I was reading about Carlton was over. And underneath it was CBS Sports reports just how hot Dave Aranda's seat is. And it was an article from 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, this dude's about to get fired. So, like,
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, no, so you got to give him credit for staying the course with moves, right? Like hanging on to a guy like Powledge. Hey, it's all working off the field. So there's a lot to be excited about. Scotty, best recruiting class in Baylor history, football-wise?
I mean, we'll see come December, right? I mean, you hope all of these guys stay locked in and don't flip. I mean, let's not pretend like that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
One or two of these really high-profile guys could have an Alabama, Georgia, someone big just really come bring the money or the influence or whatever. And so you're going to have to protect the guys you've already gotten, including Carlton. But, yeah, depending on how you round it out, I definitely think that's within reach. I definitely think this could be. And again, if you had told me that about Dave Aranda a year and a half ago, I would have said, why the hell do you think he can do that? And yet here we are. I mean, he's really putting together something special. And let me just say this too. Recruiting is more important than ever, in my opinion, but it's not the same as getting wins on the football field, right? So, like, I want to, like, praise this and celebrate this. I think it is a huge signal, a green flag of where the program is headed. But it's not going to be very fun if we pull in this huge class going into the fall and then win 7 games this fall, right? It's almost the same thing as we've talked about with Texas Tech. Like, you've gotten all this talent, now go win. I don't think Baylor is quite in the same level as Tech with that, but you're almost there of like, man, I don't care if you can get Jamari and Carlton, but you can't win more than 8 games a season. Like, what's the point? So
Totally.
It'll be interesting to see if Aranda can tie all the pieces together. But this is a piece. I mean, he hasn't had defensive talent like this. I think this was what Cam's. I keep stealing Cam's thunder. His episode was so good. Go watch Locked On Baylor.
Well, they'll call you Lightning. You guys are Thunder and Lightning now.
There we go. But he pointed out, has Baylor really had a game breaker on defense since Bernard and Petrie in 21? Not really. And he's with me. He was like, Garmin Randolph was not who we all wanted him to be. Jamarian Carlton is who we think he is. He will be that disruptor on the edge.
Well, remember, you made a good point, and that does give some perspective on it. Garmin Randolph, like, snubbed Alabama to be a part of Matt Rule's best recruiting class, right? Or one of his first ones. So we gotta hang on. It looks really good right now, and we hope these guys can deliver, and we hope they continue to work. But, dude, so much excitement around this.
And let me just say one more thing, because I said it on Locked On Baylor last week. It's always helpful when you find the guy in the class who's going to recruit for you. And I will be interested to see in the coming year, and I swear I'm not just trying to bring up the same kid over and over and over, but in a year, I will be really interested to talk to Quinn Murphy and say, how many of these guys did you get on the phone with? Because the first tweet I saw after Carlton committed was Quinn Murphy, and if you don't know, the top quarterback in Baylor's 26 class, who I am very high on, he tweeted, "We're not done yet." I mean, that guy is shooting text messages and making calls in
And the Murphy
addition to the
kid's the one who
coaching staff.
played for Jason Witten. or played for
Correct.
Jason Witten.
Correct. Yeah. Quarterback at Liberty Christian and Argyle. So, yeah. So it's when you get the kids to buy in and then they're recruiting their peers. I don't think this class is done. I think we could see Jordan Clay commit today, and then there could be a couple other sneaky 4-stars that get in there as well. It's, Pete, I'm electric. If you can't tell, I'm very excited.
High times in Waco, Texas. Scotty, we're going to talk to Cam in the last block a little bit more about Baylor and Baylor recruiting, Baylor football coming into the season. One more thing before we go to break. I just do want to get to this piece of news. Cooper Flagg making his summer league debut last night in Vegas. It was Cooper Flagg and Bronny James going head to head. It was actually pretty cool. I don't want to do like a total, blow it out of proportion like it was some showdown. It was not. But Cooper Flagg was handling the ball a ton last night, and that led to a lot of matchups one-on-one with Bronny James. And Bronny James actually played some really good defense, but, they weren't like locked on each other for most or for the majority of the game. But Cooper Flagg did play 32 minutes. He was 5 of 21 shooting, so that's not very good, right? 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. Just so you know that he has perspective. After the game, he said, one of the worst games of my life. He was 0 for 6 in the second half. But he played with the ball in his hands a ton. And this is not me talking, right? Bobby Marks said this earlier this morning, former GM of the Nets, now ESPN, or assistant GM with the Nets. He was actually at the Nets when I was calling D-League games for the Springfield Armory. Great guy, Bobby Marks. But he talked about how he makes winning plays, and there was a sequence towards the end of the game where the game was on the line, and Cooper Flagg helped a defender, came over and blocked a shot. Then he grabbed the ball, took it down the floor, very smooth in transition at 6'9", maybe 6'10", 205 pounds. And he dropped it off to Ryan Nimhart, the kid from Gonzaga, who wasn't drafted. And Nimhart hit probably what was like a game-winning shot because the Lakers came down the other end and they couldn't finish, and the Mavs won. But Jason Kidd has been calling him a young Grant Hill. There's just I think part of the excitement around Cooper Flagg too is like, he just wants it really bad. And I'm not saying other players don't want it, but it's just very clear that when you read about him after a performance like last night, where when you look at the box score, it's like, 5 of 21. Come on, like this isn't that great. Like Scotty, who hadn't watched the game, but I think just read the box score, was like, hey, what's the big deal about what Cooper Flagg did? But watching the game, he definitely like took over at times. And then again, back to the point where people who know way more than me about this stuff, like personnel guys, what's his name? His name was escaping me. The guy who writes for the Dallas Morning News, Tim McMahon, who used to write for the Dallas Morning News, was just talking about how he contributed in such a way last night outside of the box score, right? I talked about Bobby Marks, talking about him making winning plays. A lot to be excited about. And there's one other basketball thing as we're getting way over in this first segment here. So we'll take a break after this. But the Mavs are going to have a lot of opportunities size-wise in their front court to take advantage of some teams. I mean, you're going to have 3 guys over 7 foot or over 6, like around 6'10" and over next year. And I think that there's just a lot of excitement around the Mavs and what they could do next year. And I don't think they're done adding pieces. I think that, 1 or 2 more things could happen this offseason. And I don't know, man, it's just sports is the best, right? We just talked about Baylor and their amazing recruiting, 6-7 months after Dave Aranda was like literally going to get fired tomorrow, and now here are the Mavs, who they were basically ready to, and some people still are ready to, like overthrow the organization at American Airlines Arena. That was like 3-4 months ago. And now here we are, right? So you got to stay tuned in sports, and you got to stay tuned to the Pete Sousa Show. We're going to come back. Look, it's what people are talking about. And again, it's more Baylor, but this one's tough to wrestle with, right? RG3 back in the news again, commenting on Angel Reese. And a wildfire again on social media. Can this guy not stay out of his own way, or is he looking to get in our way, right? To show up in our feeds. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We love RG3 here. I have basically come down on the side that he is like a family member that is crazy that you love, but We'll talk about it when we come back. Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kit Bag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kit Bag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kit Bag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kit Bag.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show continues here. We are in our Flower Mound Studios in North Texas, the Rogue Media Network. Thanks to my man, Corey Dickman. Got to see him at Media Days this week for the Big 12. Corey, the Grand Poobah, the Podfather, was on the road in Frisco, and it was really cool, man. Rogue Media. We got the 365 guys, David Smoke, just into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, who he knew everybody, right, at an event like that. And really cool for all of us to be in his orbit. And then, of course, what we're doing with my show. And there's just a ton of stuff growing. So good time to be a part of Rogue Media and the Rogue Media Network. If you want to get involved, you want to sponsor, just reach out to me. And then I'll take you and make sure you sponsor my show and no one else. All right, just ask Scotty about that. Okay, so we got to talk about this. And it's like, it's frustrating because it's a scenario where, let me get this. How's my hair? It's all right. Yeah, try to give it a little bit of body here. You know, I need a haircut. I always say these confidence monitors lead to no confidence because you actually have to look at yourself. All right, let's talk about RG3. Yesterday, let's give some context to this. So you got to talk about Caitlin Clark when we come into this, because I want to give all the context, right? Because I have to infuse my opinion on this, because now I have to react to RG3. Don't you love how we tell RG3 not to comment on anything, on everything, but then we comment on everything he says? I think he asked for it, though. Okay, so Caitlin Clark and her performance, she has been ice cold recently, and it's like a historic drought. In her last 4 games, she is 3 of 28 from 3. That's under 11%, 10.7%. And she's been injured throughout that stretch, right? But she's played all the 4 games in question. That's the worst 4-game stretch in the history of the WNBA as far as shooting percentage is concerned. The qualifier there is having to take more than 25 shots during that time, and Caitlin Clark qualified. So clearly she's going through a slump. Okay, she's down. Angel Reese is kind of like sought a little retribution as to, early in the season she's missing layups, and I'm not saying she still isn't, but people love to get on her about that. That's all you see on social media. Meantime, she has become the fastest player in the WNBA to 450 points and 450 rebounds. She's done it in just 35 games. And she is now in the midst of an NBA record-breaking streak of 6 games with 15 rebounds, 15-plus rebounds, right? And 22 and 15 in her last game against Washington. She's playing her ass off, right? And recently, yesterday, it was announced that she would be on the face for NBA 2K20, or on the cover, she'd be the face of NBA 2K 2026, okay? And right away, some asshole on Twitter posted a picture that was just abhorrent, right? And it was like, basically they replaced Angel Reese on the cover of NBA 2K26 with just a racist image, right? And immediately, Robert Griffin takes this person with 33 followers to task, and RG3 retweets it, which, first of all, to me is like, again, I love RG3, by the way. I need to do the quick qualifier. I don't care what anybody says. RG3 is a great dude. I met him several times. He's super nice. He's genuine. And he's an easy guy to like. And I think that's real, okay? There's another side of RG3 that we see here, okay? And I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know him that well. But we're going to chat a little bit about right now, like what that is and how we see it. So Robert retweets this image, the racist image, and then talks about, hey, I'm against racism. This is ridiculous. We can't do this. But then it was as though he was waiting on the moment, because I'll get into a little bit. Just read the first paragraph. He said, all right, this has to stop. There's no place for racism in this world. Whether you like a player or not, Angel Reese should never be called or depicted as a monkey. That was the picture that was put on the cover of the game. And then he goes on, and it kind of seems like he goes to the victim. I have been quiet on the Angel Reese front because she shared a video that aided in my wife, kids, family, and friends receiving death threats of physical harm to my family and friends, and threats of sexual violence to my children on social media and beyond. Okay, that's a tough read. I mean, it truly is. That will never be okay with me. And here's where it gets interesting. Let me skip to the next paragraph. People in Angel's inner circle called me and told me I was right, and Angel Reese has grown to hate Caitlin Clark because of the media always asking her about Caitlin and being constantly compared to her. So Angel Reese quickly responds like, dude, basically she's kind of like a thinly veiled shot back at RG3. Like, people are coming on this app and they're lying. Like, that's lame. That's nasty, right? So then RG3 gets back involved, and I'll read you his last tweet, because yes, I am going through this, right? He said, I spoke up in support of Angel Reese against racism, not to start drama, but I won't let anyone twist the truth just because it's inconvenient to them. Instead of trying to check me, just tighten up your circle. He's talking about Angel Reese. They calling me and saying you hate Caitlin Clark, not the other way around. I have zero interest in being the villain in anyone's story. I just want to have fun, tell the truth, and celebrate sports. But I won't pretend to lie, or I won't pretend or just lie to protect feelings. Okay, so at that point, this was my favorite part about this whole thing. From on high, Martin Luther King's daughter, Bernice, parachutes into this, right? She's actually the CEO for MLK Center for Nonviolent Resolutions and Social Change. And she is actually kind of like the godmother of like Twitter, and she will weigh in every so often on issues like this. And she does her best to bring resolutions to them, right? Nonviolent and sensible resolutions, sort of like an extension of her father, you'd like to think. And honestly, evidence speaks to that. So then she responded to that last tweet I read, and she said, I agree. That's why I suggest you call Angel Reese and stop posting about her. Like, come on, Robert. Like, seriously. Like, and so I don't understand if Robert is doing this to give himself a boost in the world of social media, or in, just maybe he wasn't feeling it. Sometimes we put stuff on social media and we're looking for that endorphin hit. We don't even know as to why we're doing it until we get the endorphin hit, or maybe we don't get it. Robert and Ryan Clark certainly in the news about a month and a half ago. I think it was back in May when, we don't have to relive that, but clearly that I don't even want to say raised RG3's profile, but certainly put his profile right back out there front and center. A fear of mine for him, and this is a very real fear. He just signed a deal as the #2 analyst for Fox College Football. Hey man, like I would hope he kind of backs off. Like, be careful. Like, Fox is pretty cool. Like, they will allow a little bit more of stuff like this as opposed to ESPN. I mean, if you look at Fox, right, a great example, and I love Fox for this. Like, they just re-signed Carissa Thompson. She's awesome. They just re-signed Aaron Andrews. The Carissa Thompson thing, if you remember, like a year and a half ago, she was in hot water because she said when she was a sideline reporter that she used to make up reports. Like, it was kind of said tongue in cheek. But you got the idea. She could have gotten in trouble for that. What does Fox do? They re-sign her. So RG3 probably has a little bit more wiggle room over at Fox, but like, I would just like risk reward. And then let's get to the Baylor part of it. Okay. Like, again, I've had an experience with RG3. I had just broken up with a girlfriend, right? So I had to move back from Dallas to Waco, where I was doing the news at the time. This is like 3-4 years ago. I had spent all this money trying to buy a house with this woman, and it was still locked up in the house, right? So I moved back to Waco because we break up, and I'm asked to volunteer at a camp for RG3. And it was a vulnerable time in my life. We've spoken about vulnerable times in my life. So I'm working this camp with RG3 and a bunch of other dudes, a couple other guys who played with him at Baylor. It was a lot of fun. We were out there at, he put on a free camp, totally free. I think it was for Hewitt High School. I think I'm wrong about that, but I'll get it right. And I think it was Hewitt. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're not expecting anything. It's a long day. We're in the sun. We get a card. It's a thank you from Robert, and it's $200 cash. Like, dude, we were told we were volunteering. It was a great experience hanging with these kids. It was kind of like underprivileged kids. Robert gave them a free day of football camp. And look, dude, I needed that money at that time. Like, that was huge for me, right? And that was super cool of him. And so that really, truly is the kind of guy he is. All this stuff we're seeing, I don't know if that's the guy he wants to be. I don't know if he sees himself as a wrestler, but these are like very serious topics. Like, I don't know why he wants to be a lightning rod for controversy. And back to the Baylor part of it, where we look at him as a family member, like, he really is the guy that you just look at and you say, like, we love this dude, but he's kind of nutty, man. Like, he's like, I had an Uncle Dennis, right? Uncle Dennis, I loved him. But Uncle Dennis would go outside of the family and do crazy stuff. And you'd be like, man, that's our Dennis. We love him. But oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. Same thing with RG3. I still will always love him because of the experience I told you about, and just because of my affiliation with Baylor and all that he brought to the school, such an important part of Baylor. And you know what? In 2 minutes, let's just bring Cam up and we'll have him join this segment because I want to keep it rolling with him. But I also, here's one last point I want to make about this, and this is kind of pointed, but the more and more this starts to appear on my social media feed, I'm starting to believe this, right? I think RG3 is starting to show us why he was incapable of leading his teammates in the NFL. This is evidence, right? This is the kind of stuff where it's like, it's almost as though like you play a round of golf with someone, you really get to know who they are, right? Because it's 4 hours. And if you play with me, it's going to take longer because I suck, right? You really get an opportunity to get to know somebody, warts and all. Whether the person is a great individual, I'd be like, this guy's a weirdo. I think that's kind of where RG3 is starting to come down in pop culture society. And I really hope people don't look at him or paint him as a villain, because he's not. He can't get out of his own way, and he makes it about himself constantly. And I think that is why he's really struggled with his teammates in Washington. And I don't know that he struggled in Baltimore or Cleveland, but certainly in Washington. I mean, he lost the locker room. And, that is, you don't have to look hard to find that evidence of that. And I think this is more evidence of that and who the guy actually is. But I hope he chills out, because I don't want to see him lose his job at Fox. Much like what happened to him. It's been less than a calendar year ago. He was let go by ESPN. And depending on who you ask, that's way above my pay grade. There's reasons as to why he left. So let's bring up Cam Stewart. Cam Stewart is our resident Baylor expert, and he's my guy, dude. He is my guy. So, Cam, we were at Big 12 Media Day, and I was with all the usual suspects, baby. I was with Jake. Can you hear me, Scotty? Cam. He can't hear me. Can you hear me? This reminds me of the Stern Show when I was a kid, when they'd have a caller up and the caller was asleep and they would just leave him on, right? All right, we're going to come back. We'll take a break, 2-minute break, Scotty, and then we'll get Cam for about 10, 15 minutes. The Pete Sousa Show rolls on. Like, just to be clear, I love RG3, but I'm a little worried. Slovacics, thank you very much. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Visit blogify.ai today for a free 3-day trial. That's Blogify, Blogify.ai today.
And now, back to our show.
Bear the truth. Thank you very much. This is an RIT shirt. My future daughter, Lex, is going there, and I got it up there. What do you think, Cam? Real hockey stuff.
I like that.
Oh, yeah.
RIT hockey, man.
Yeah,
Not just
baby.
RIT. We're leaning into this thing.
Yeah, I was at the bookstore, dude, and
Love that.
it's like we're going back up there August 12th because we're dropping her off.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
says that is an awesome town.
I mean, I didn't spend. I pumped the brakes on awesome. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I didn't.
That's
spend
probably
too
what other people think about Waco, Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
like we found our spot, but yeah, maybe for the outsider, sure.
Yo, Cam, what do you think about, just real quick, I want to get your thoughts on the RG3 thing. Like as a person, like where are you at with him? I just gave my 2 cents. But there's it's funny because we know this stuff, people get interested and it gets clicks.
Mhm.
And it's also a guy from friggin' Baylor. Like,
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
talk about this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think you can probably guess because I'm just like so cynical about everything. So like RG3's constant kind of positivity just in general, it's just not really for me, which is why I'm miserable in life, I think. But it's not even just him being positive all the time. It's like RG3 kind of being like having that mentality that a lot of celebrities have of like, I need to talk about this. People want to know what I think about this. And that's celebrities, that's Twitter. Like I almost can't even blame them for it. But it's like, I need people to know the positive spin that I'm putting on this. I need people to know that I'm such a good guy, because he probably is a really good guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So there's been plenty of other examples where I'm just like, can we stop doing the RG3 like corny goofball? It's either this person is so great because of this, or here's a TikTok of me slapping my wife's ass. Like,
All right, let me ask you a question. Because you've got a body of work with this. Was there a moment before everyone else was paying attention and that you noticed this guy might be a little odd?
I don't know. I mean, probably. Like, again, because I'm just super cynical, and I like RG3, obviously, being a Baylor guy. He's done immeasurable amounts. He's actually probably the reason I went to Baylor, if we had to break it down. But no, I can't think of one in particular, but I do remember like he would post those videos all the time of like what I do when the kids aren't looking. And it's like, oh, I know what this is. It's just another video of RG3 slapping his wife's butt. Yep, she's really pretty. No, I get what you're doing here, Robert. Like, this is like the 5th different thing you've posted about this. So I can't think of one in particular, but
every once in a while, I think he believes he's sticking it to all of us because he's got such a beautiful wife, right?
He does.
He certainly does.
But like, I don't know. It's like half the sports media though is just this kind of jock sniffing is not the right word because he played the sports, but like those podcasts he did with like Dion, they're like falling all over themselves, complimenting him and how great he is, and just like can't even, oh my gosh, what you've done with this and your kids, and oh my God, I'm like, do people want this? Like, do people listen to this? There are probably people with purer hearts than I.
I don't know. That's a little bit of, my dad used to call that the mutual admiration society.
It just sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like we're probably on the same page. Just like in general, that's not great. That's just not great entertainment.
No, it's no fun. All right, how about you and your thoughts on this Baylor football recruiting situation? Can you kind of put your arms around this and explain to people like why this is so important and why it's so unique for this school?
Well, they are cooking, which is really, really cool. And I think I had to kind of take a moment when going over this commitment yesterday, this Jamarion Carlton commitment, of being like, I wanted Dave Aranda fired at the end of 2023. Like, I was like, how can we go on with this? This is not good. It's clearly not going in the right direction. And I still do understand some fans who are 50-50 on him. Like, I understand that. I'm not there. I'm back with Dave Aranda, but I do understand that. And I had to kind of take a moment, take a step back and be like, at the end of 2023, he like brought a binder into Mac Rhodes' office and said, here's what we're going to do better. And the first thing is we're going to recruit better. We've not been good at it. And he hires Keenan Hall from SMU, who was doing a great job starting to fly some real talent to SMU. And they have delivered 100% on that promise. And when you hear these commits, they all say kind of the same thing. And that is usually that Baylor was kind of the first big offer. They were on me pretty early, sophomore year, whatever. And the other thing is they made me feel like a priority and that we're building something here. And when you get a kid over Texas and LSU, and that's what he's saying, that to me says Baylor's still doing recruiting kind of the traditional way, whereas Texas and LSU are saying, you like this car? Or, man, you can get a house with this money that we're going to be paying you, or with this deal and this deal. And Baylor is paying players too. Don't get me wrong. But they're saying, here's how you slot into our system. Like, here's how you're going to be a focal point of our defense. Here's how you're going to get us back to the Big 12 championship and this, that, and the other thing. So for a Baylor fan, that is refreshing, and not just refreshing that they're doing that, but refreshing that still works. I mean, like I keep saying, I hope that there's a time in my Baylor fandom where we're kind of past this, but we're not there yet. And that's okay. And that is this: when you take a recruit from Texas and LSU, that is still a huge victory in and of itself. It's still big time for Baylor to be at the table with those schools, right? Like they're gonna do it today with Jordan Clay. Texas is after him, Oklahoma's after him. There's a couple other big time SEC power programs that are after him, and Baylor's right in that mix. Baylor's going to be on the table. They're going to have a hat on the table, and that's no moral victories. But you just nabbed a top 50 recruit from 2 elite SEC programs. That is massive.
Yeah. No, and I think you made a wonderful point about the binder and the Mac Rhodes thing, and about the efforts that Dave Aranda is making. By the way, you can get more of this on Locked On Baylor with Cam Stewart. I'm sure that the new episode is up, illustrating this amazing recruiting windfall for Baylor football fans. I think that one of the best parts about Dave Aranda, and this goes back to him working for Coach O, right, who we could say is just a total outlaw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his ability to work with Mike Gundy all the way back in the day, and his ability to hire guys like Keenan Hall. Dave is kind of an interesting guy, and he's very, his faith is amazing. It is white hot, but he doesn't judge, and he also understands what it takes to win. And I think his ability to kind of get along with everybody and to understand, he doesn't have much of an ego. It's not hey, we're going to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, Keenan Hall's got a way. Let's do it his way. This.
Yes, he is completely deferred to it, and he's done it. He did it on the offensive side of the ball too, twice in his time here at Baylor. Yeah,
it really is brilliant. And the last point I'll make about what you said, and I'll tell you this just because I'm old, that will never happen. There'll never be a day when Baylor is it's not a big deal to beat Texas and LSU. I mean, look at Auburn. That's a great example. Baylor's first opponent. Auburn will always be, and Auburn's in the SEC, but they'll always be the little brother to Alabama. Forever. It's just the way it is. So I don't think Baylor will ever surpass or be. And I'm not saying that you're hardcore on that, but being at the table with LSU and Texas is huge, and it will remain. Anytime you can do that with one of those big ass state schools with all that money and how attractive they are, and especially the heater that Texas Tech is on, that even is something to be able to kick their ass is special.
That's nice at this time, at this day and age, to beat out Tech for a recruit. Now it's hilarious, man, because there are now football coaches complaining about Tech and the money they're throwing out there. I've seen some UT people, some UT writers complaining about, something must be going on with this Baylor commitment. I'm like, the moment we get Texas fans mad that's pretty cool. For a month over money for a recruit that, we kind of broken them here.
And Scotty mentioned this, and I think you'll probably speak to it too. This is the most success they've had recruiting. Does this leapfrog Matt Rule, or now we talking this Aranda era and the Briles era in recent history? The two best recruiting situations, or are we working with too finite of a time for Matt Rule to even judge?
Well, see, when you say recruiting situations, I think then we still look at Matt Rule and that first wave that he had. In context, he comes in with 60-something scholarship players, which is peanuts for Division I Power 4 college football. I think it was 71, and had no recruiting class. And he came in January, basically, and got a top 50, maybe. I think they might have barely got top 40 recruiting class, but with a bunch of 3-stars that developed into the 2021 team that is arguably the best team in Baylor history. But in terms of just, the quality of player that they're bringing in, this is as good a run in the last 13 months as they've had since Art Briles was here. And, contrary to what some people might remember, like those recruiting classes weren't like off the charts good. They never had like a top 15 recruiting class. I don't know if they had a top 20. They were probably pretty close. But they did have some obviously individual recruits that are pretty awesome. They've got 2 kids in this 26 class that are in like the top 12 recruits they've ever gotten. Like that's amazing, man. Like that's
Mosley
that's
said
huge.
Mosley says this is the Carlton is his biggest Dave's finest moment recruiting.
It probably is.
Yeah,
it probably is. And it's crazy that they had such a heater last summer too, coming off a 3-9 season. And it's not like we're talking about them coming off 11-1 Big 12 championship, but yeah, this is probably Dave's best win, to go head to head with 2 SEC powerhouses at this point, 2 teams that are absolutely in play for not just the CFP, but the Final Four this year, LSU and Texas, to go head to head and get a guy in their own backyard, which he's really struggled to do in his time at Baylor. He's gotten a couple in this class from the greater Waco, Temple, Killeen area. And so, yeah, I might have to agree with my pal Mosley there. It's right up there in the top 3 at the worst, if not number 1.
But by the way, for that first game of the Rule era, I was actually in the booth for Fox Sports. I was spotting for Eric Collins, and the broadcast team was Eric Collins, Danny Cannell, and AJ Hawk. And of course, Baylor lost to Liberty.
AJ Hawk doing commentary?
Yeah, AJ Hawk.
Based off his Pat McAfee performance, I don't know that he said very much.
He didn't say too much, but when he said something, it was poignant, and he was really cool. But that was, remember, Baylor couldn't tackle anybody. They were so out of position. It was such a disaster. Ian McCall, the former president or former AD at Baylor, is the AD at Liberty at the time, and Liberty comes back and wins. It was just like, honestly, it's pretty interesting for somebody who's been around Waco and Baylor for like a short period of time. I've seen a ton of drama, it has not been without its interesting and compelling moments, all the way up to present day when RG3 is battling with Angel Reese. Like, what the hell is going on? And you know what
I
else?
had it on my bingo card. Yeah.
You know what's funny about the RG3 thing is people like Scotty, who are so like dyed in the wool Baylor people, like Scotty doesn't even want to comment on this because
I get that. Yeah.
So much. And there's such a reverence, like to what you said, like what he has done or what he did for that school. That legacy just continues to give. Like, I wouldn't be talking to you, dude, if he didn't play the way he did at Baylor.
Correct. Yeah. Like, and to Scotty's point, like, how often do I talk about Brady? Like, he's a weird dude, but it's tough.
Scotty?
No, I'm saying why Scotty doesn't talk about RG3 as much. No.
All right,
can I throw one quick question back at you, because I know we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, but then I got to ask you one more. Go ahead.
Actually, you know what? Here's a tease. I'll ask you when you come on my show. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. We can talk about this on your show too. Okay. Quick thought: Tom Brady, Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, man. All the power to him. I know he was talking some game, laying some game down with my girl Sydney as well. The man likes what he likes. It also happens to be some things that I like. So look, I'm there with Tom. Let's do this thing, man. Sofia Vergara or Sydney Sweeney, like, I mean, those are some damn good options to have. Would the Sydney Sweeney thing be weird though?
Yes.
He's 20 years older.
I kind of, yeah. Because can I say, like, usually when it's a guy around my age with a lot of money that's with a young girl that's 22, he's usually not attractive. Like, Tom Brady's a very handsome man.
She's my age, by the way. She's 28.
Okay, she's 20, so she's 20 years younger.
We'll talk about that. I think it's very interesting because, obviously we get the Belichick stuff too. So Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be on Cam Show in about 20 minutes. We're going to wrap it up here for the Pete Sousa Show. Thanks to Scotty back in Waco. We are here in Flower Mound. Great job by the whole Hunt Mob, kind of staying out of my business here while I did this show. Yeah, we'll be back on Monday. Let's see. Let me see real quick. Will Baylor get in the top 25 by the end of this cycle? Yes, absolutely. That was from Bear the Truth. Scotty B says Texas Tech fans are also salty. Same goes for LSU fans. Yeah, they are. They're I think it's great when you can get those big ass bases pissed off. It means you're doing the right thing. Can you do it on the gridiron come August? We'll find out. Pete Sousa Show. We'll find out what's going on Monday morning when we're back. Like, subscribe, please. I'd love to get to 100,000 followers or subscribers before the new year. We can do that, right? Pete Sousa Show. Be back Monday. Thanks, everybody.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We'd love.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.